And we're back. And where we left off, kudos to Richard Marks for always having the pulse on what's popping in pop culture, and he was smart to give his lend his track, his very famous track, because there's this, I think it's the most climactic scene in Fresh, and there's this whole little choreography and everything. It is the most cutest thing, and then the way it ends is like, But again, this is full of spoilers. If you haven't seen it, again, watch the film, then come back and see my review. But, so we discover, thankfully, because of her chosen family of Molly, her friend that cannot be tamed, she has several people, and then she's bi, so she swings both ways. And though she's more experienced, if you can say, or it's just somebody who is enjoying being in multitude of relationships, something about this character, this boyfriend of her friends, that she's not digging. Steve, and Molly's played by Jonica T. Gibbs. Something about him don't sound right. So while she's at work, she's trying to be that good friend of Googling and getting all the information and dirt that she can, and finds out. Now, when she has her worries is when, her friend of Noah tells her, oh, yeah, I met him in the supermarket. We hit it off. Now he wants to take me away for a vacation. And that was a red flag for her. And she was already kind of like, look, enjoy that D, but something's wrong. I smell something's wrong. So while she's gone, the communication is like closely ceasing. And she's still responding, very reminiscent of Dexter. Dexter used to do that too when it came to like people who went missing or whatnot, he had captive for whatever reason. He would still reply, so that to not as for it to not be the dog whistle, so it'll draw, perhaps even the authority. But when she tells her like, hey, where are you at, and give me more details, and she sends her a pic, which to Molly's under the assumption that it's her friend Noah. She Googles it. She placed it in Google and realized that it was a picture taken from a site. And then that's what she was like, she knew something was wrong. So she starts digging and finds out that our plastic surgeon, our perfect Prince Charming here, is married and has a whole family and, the whole white picket fence fantasy. And she's able to find the address. She drives to the residence, can see that his wife, he has a blonde, beautiful wife and 2.2 kids. 2 kids. 2.2. And the desired life. He lives very well. And she goes and starts questioning, like, I'm looking for my friend, and I hate to break it to you. I don't necessarily know what's going on in your marital situation, but he's been unfaithful and he's dating my friend. She's oblivious. I don't know who you're talking about. Perhaps you've mistaken his identity with somebody else. Sorry, can't help you. Millions of lies. So she'll just leave confused. He happens to come in at that very moment, Steve, and also plays the whole like, I don't know, perhaps you mistaken me. Maybe we were, I'm a plastic surgeon. Maybe she, confused me, or maybe she was obsessed with me. He comes up with a million scenarios to throw off the scent. But being the slick person that she is, Molly, she calls, something told her to call her friend's cell. And she has this distinctive ringtone, which will, whenever it's her friend Molly calling, plays the Golden Girls themed song, which I think is so funny that we've gone into this year, and I even played it for New Year's when we had Betty White's passing, unfortunately. But yes, Golden Girls. And as he's exiting, he's, escorting her out of the house. And I hope, you find her and lots of luck. And she calls it, and it just so happens to be her friend Noah's cell phone. And that's when she knows, like, oh. And then the wife tag teams the husband, knocks Molly out cold, out conscious. She's out cold. And then we realize they're both in cahoots She knows of her husband's whereabouts. She knows how he makes his bread and butter, and she indulges. Now, here's the funny part, though, that I will say. Fast forward, we're under the assumption that Steve has now taken Molly as captive. With her being knocked out, he took her to the same exact spot where Noah is, but again, they don't see each other, so there's an indication that somebody new is in this house of horrors, but you don't know the identity. But when we go back to the wife and she's in the bathroom, she's looking at her skin as if like she may want some plastic surgery of her own. She's kind of pulling back her skin. And then she takes a bath. She decides to take a shower. And as she's disrobing, you can see she's missing a leg. So now a lot of people and a lot of other reviewers have come to the conclusion, which I have as well, is that perhaps she was one of his first victims. And perhaps he fell in love with her too, and that's why he only removed her leg. And she's alive to tell the story. She became his wife and the mother of his children. Her whole leg is missing. And who knows, perhaps she even knows that this is what he does and that he could be perhaps falling for a new victim. And so maybe that's why she was pulling at her skin. Like, perhaps if I was younger, it's some whole Stockholm issue, scenario syndrome going on here. Again, very well crafted, this story. And then towards the end, when Noah is able to seduce him and brutally is able to get away from his clinches, and I won't spoil that for you, but it's very traumatic. And if you're a man, that's all I will say. I was like, brace yourself for that scene. She's able to get away. She's able to get her friends out and realizes that Molly is there. And also the fact that there's a possibility that Noah could have eaten Molly's breast. Because he was talking about, oh, this is fresh. This is breast meat. Ugh, it was so horrible. And when she releases all her friends, you can see that Molly was one of the victims. She's in that hospital gown and she's holding onto her boobs. So perhaps he could have already initiated incision with her. Crazy. So as they're trying to escape, they beat his ass to a pulp. and then I think yes, Noah goes back looking for her phone. She dropped it in this like wooded area where he's kept them captive. And so she has a struggle with Steve and is able to defeat him, basically. That I won't spoil it for you how. But his wife later comes. I don't know, perhaps because she had been texting him about some client and he wasn't responding. And then also, before we even get to this point, this is why it felt very much like Dexter, because, and I think it's been known, even in Mindhunters, if you've watched Mindhunters on Netflix, they've always had serial killers or just people who go to that extra mile of actually killing someone, but take pleasure in it, will keep trophies. So he had a trophy wall along with a few mementos that he would send his clientele to indulge in what they were eating. But Noah was not a part of the wall. It was right behind this massively big mosaic looking painting, and he kept her things in like a little separate box. The reason why I make mention is when the wife comes and is under the suspicion something has gone awry. Also with the appearance of Molly, she goes to the damn house. She knows where the house is, where he keeps his victims, and finds his phone amongst all these other things that he's kept of Noah. So she knew something was up, that this was his, like, perhaps next squeeze, if she would have followed in tow, very much like his wife. And then she finds her, or I think she finds him, and he's dead. And then she tries to like offer. At first she passes herself off as one of the other victims, like, we're free and whatever, to kind of like gain Noah's trust. But then quickly starts to choke her. And again, thankfully for that one friend, Molly, she mollywops her. Molly whops the wife, is able to kill her, and they are able to escape. It's crazy, this film. But I was incredibly entertained. It is brutal. It is something. You really have to brace yourself when you're watching this film because it was not really, a tame watch. But in comparison, I will say, in comparison to, sorry, just want to put my new light up because I was having technical issues the last time. But in comparison to Deep Water, this is definitely worth the watch. This is entertaining. It has a really great story, twists and turns unexpectedly. You are in for a treat in watching this particular film, Fresh, on Hulu. Both are on Hulu, but if I really had to go with one, I would definitely go with Fresh. And I'm gonna, not for nothing, I'm gonna follow up. I'm gonna see if I can see more films with Sebastian Stan. Incredible actor. I mean, I really bought the whole Tommy Lee thing, and now I buy this too. Exceptional actor. So the entire cast, well done, and also shot during COVID. So again, certain films have really lived up, regardless of what we are going through, regardless of the protocols. And it has Richard Marx and all these other great 80s songs. Remember that other song too? Hold on. They had, there's an opening sequence with Sebastian Stan after he pulls out a leg from this, like, I forget what it's called, dummy door or something, like those ones that, from the old times that would, go through several floors and then come back up. Anyway, that's where he is able to make his cuts. It goes up to the kitchen fresh, and so he has a whole scene there, and they play Animotion's Obsession. Come on, I wasn't familiar with this back in the day. That is such a good song. Sorry, it really is, and it would go influence other bands and music and even video concepts. But it was anyway, really great film. If you watch it, please let me know. Leave us a comment in the comment section down below. If you like what you see, give us a like. If you like my videos, hit the subscription button and the notification button so you can be alerted of my next video, my next reviews. I'm looking forward to reviewing a number of new shows that are coming out on Netflix. Hulu just dropped Atlanta after 4 years. I can't believe that season 2 was 4 years ago, which that's why I'm still hopeful that Mindhunter will come back. Because, I get it, the whole COVID thing, and they also took a break because they were doing a number of other projects, but damn, and Atlanta really never disappoints. That's another show on Hulu, FX, and then it streams on Hulu, but must watch. And Bridgerton is also back. So, again, there's a number of other things I need to review and get up on. Also, Impeachment, which I just finished watching too. So that one, stay tuned for that one because it's going to be really good. So, alright, y'all. Hold on. Let's play this out. I love this song. I can't wait for this song when I hear this. Alright, y'all. XOXO, Nerdy Girl.